Okay, we're going to look at how we would work out exercise 14.1 in your homework, and it is covering the effective financing on earnings per share. You can see it gives us information on bonds payable, preferred stock, common stock. We have a tax rate given, and then we're asked to go ahead and compute earnings per share under 3 different scenarios. The only thing that changes in each scenario is the amount of net income. You can see it's 851 here, 851,000. Here it's a little over $1 million, and then this is even more, a little bit more than over the last one here. I have set up this right here just to help calculate it. You don't have to use an Excel spreadsheet, but it's a good way for me to get the terminology and show you the math on the screen here. This setup matches, let me come over here and change tabs, this. Okay, if you were to look in your textbook on how to calculate earnings per share, you can see it gives us 3 plans that we're looking at here. But what I'm focusing on is making sure you understand that this matches. We're starting out with earnings before interest and income tax, just like here. We've got interest on bonds like we do, income before income tax. We're going to deduct the income tax, etc. So this is based on what the book is actually telling you, or how the book is telling you to do it as well. So let me come back over here, bring our Excel spreadsheet up. Okay, I have went ahead and dropped in the amounts of the income for the 3 different scenarios right here. Okay, and now I'm going to move this up and cover that up so we can see some more of this all together. Okay, so I have my earnings in place. The very next thing I need to do is deduct the interest on the bonds. We have bonds in the amount of $1,850,000. It says that they are 10% bonds, so I am going to, well, it's going to bring up a calculator, but I guess I don't need to since we're using Excel. The interest on the bonds is going to equal 10% times the amount of the bond, 1,850,123. Okay, there we go. This bond interest is not going to change regardless of the amount of income. It's not dependent on income. Okay, it will always be $185,000. So we can go ahead and copy that across. Now, income before income tax is just a subtraction. Okay, this equals this amount right here minus this amount. Okay, to make it neater, let me go ahead and underline this. Let's underline these. Okay, I'm going to copy the formula across, so I now have my income before income tax for all 3 scenarios. The very next thing we're going to do is calculate our income tax. It tells us right here income tax is 40%, so I can say that this income tax equals 40% times the amount right above it. Okay, and I'm going to copy that over, and we now have income tax for all 3 scenarios. So far, the only thing that has changed, is the earnings before interest and income tax. So this is going to vary as well because it's based on, the earnings. Next, we're going to get net income. Let me go ahead and underline those blocks. There we go. Okay, so net income then equals this income before income tax minus the income tax. Okay, so now I have net income. I'll put that all the way across there. Now, let's go ahead and make sure we understand where we're headed first. We're trying to calculate earnings per share. Earnings per share is calculated as net income minus preferred stock dividends. Okay, and it is divided by, let me underscore that whole thing there, divided by the common stock outstanding, or let me say the number of shares. Okay, that's our formula. So at this point now, we have just calculated net income. So that plugs into this portion. Now we're going to calculate the preferred stock dividends. Okay, so here we go. What do we know about preferred stock? We have preferred stock in the value of $1,850,000, and it has a $10 par. So to get the number of shares, we can, and I am going to go ahead and bring a calculator up for this. We can take the 1,850,123 zeros after that. Okay, we're going to divide it by a $10 par. And we can see we have 185,000 shares. Now, the 185,000 shares, each share is going to get a $1 dividend, or is at least entitled to a $1 dividend before common can get anything. So this number times 1 is still that number. So this is going to be 185,000. And it will be the same for all three scenarios. Okay? So now, next thing I want to do is I'm going to do another subtraction. This is my net income. I am subtracting my dividends for preferred stock. Okay, I now have the number for the numerator right here in my calculation of earnings per share. I've taken net income, and I've now subtracted preferred stock dividends, and that gives me everything that is available for dividends on common stock. Next, I need to come up with the number of shares of common stock outstanding. Okay, bring my calculator up again. Okay, I have 1,850,000 in common stock. It has a $25 par, so I have to have 74,000 shares of common stock. Okay, so I'm just going to put that in here. That is the bottom. I've just calculated this right here. So this bottom number now is actually a division. Okay, this equals that number divided by that number. So we now have our earnings per share. In scenario A, my earnings per share is $3. The next one is $4, and the next one is $6. So we have 3, 4, and 6. Let's go ahead and check our work. And what happened with that one? Let's see, dollars and cents rounding to 2 decimal places. Let's see if it just wants pennies. Oh, major failure. Hold on. Okay, so I gave myself a little bit of a panic here, and I thought, what in the world happened? I've done this so many times. I've decided to go ahead and leave the video as is, just because messing things up is reality. The reason why this is not working is simply because in my Excel spreadsheet, I have cut out the decimal places. So when let's see, which way do I need to go? This way. Add some decimal places in. Now I have 290 here. And let me go back over here. This one is 440. And this one then is, let's see, 590. Okay. And it is indeed correct again. So if you use an Excel spreadsheet, make sure you know how many decimal places your stuff is being rounded to. So the calculation was actually correct the whole time. We just were presenting it wrong. So always make sure you pay attention to directions on rounding. This is around to 2 decimal places, and my Excel was set up wrong. You can save yourself a lot of grief just watching for that kind of stuff. Hopefully this answers any questions you have on calculating earnings per share. And if I can help you any more on this problem, please let me know. Thank you very much.